Great. Thank you so much, Marie. Okay, so we are going straight into the discussion today, being a Monday. It's Eye on Politics, and earlier on I asked a question, is the game on? That is the question that we are asking you today. Is the game on? The game, the race to 2027 general election. Actually, August is here with us, so what we should be expecting is high-octane politics and more campaigns across the country. And of course, from what we saw over the weekend, it seems that the game is on, right? Right. Ask me. Talk to me on 0707. That's on WhatsApp. 0707 30 32 12. That is 0707 303 212. 0707 303 212. Is the game on? From wherever you are, what is the mood on the ground? Okay. I'll be joined by my guests already. Dr. Richard Ambassador. Dr. Richard Busire is already in studio. He's a lecturer of political science at the University of Nairobi. Dr. Good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having
me. All right. Okay. I'll come back to you shortly. Let me take you through the front page of the local dailies, starting with the Star newspaper. The Star says that Ruto woos taste of voters, Sifuna rocks Bungoma base. Ruto woos taste of voters, Sifuna rocks Bungoma base. Western Kenya is emerging as a major bloc. Western Kenya is emerging as a major bloc. And yes, that's on the front page of the Star. There you have it. The two teams were in Western Kenya over the weekend, and this is what happened. The Linda Mwananchi crew were in Trans Nzoia County on Saturday and crossed over to Bungoma County. That's yesterday, where their campaigns culminated at the poster ground. So is it that Western Kenya is emerging as a major bloc, and why? Okay. That's on the front page. President William Ruto was actually in Amagoro yesterday. He was in Amagoro, while the Linda Mwananchi crew were in Trans Nzoia and the other side of Bungoma County. There is a story here about why tribalism is making hospitals worse, according to experts. The results showed that more diverse teams in facilities performed better. Okay, there's that question there. And there's a story here which was actually has been exposed by the public service CS, this is Godfrey Ruko, why there is a massive payroll fraud draining Kenya's state coffers. Exposed the massive payroll fraud draining Kenya's state coffers. It's quite a number here. According to the report, there is 16,000 ghost workers, unexplained differences of 16,000 ghost workers. That is in different ministries, 4,000 paid outside of payroll. This just a different number in here that has been exposed by the Star newspaper. Okay. The story continues that Sifuna electrifies Bungoma, unveils new funding model. It turns out that turns to direct contribution from Kenyans to finance campaign. All right. We could see them actually collecting money, literally speaking, but there is a more structured way of fundraising when it comes to political rallies and campaigns. Okay. The story continues on the inner pages. Let me continue there. It's on page 7 and page 11 of the Star. You can get the full story there, where the teams actually continued. Ruto attacks Sifuna, warns over electing opposition. Ruto attacks Sifuna, warns over electing opposition. He accuses his critics of opposing key state projects, including houses, roads, and markets. All right, that is what I have here. And of course, the president was in Amagoro. So Western Kenya over the weekend had a clear view of what power and high-octane campaign is all about. Very quickly on the front page of the Daily Nation. Battle for Western more or less the same thing. Battle for Western. Okay, there you go. The two teams were in Western Kenya. The battleground is clearly drawn. ODM has dominated the region, but Raila Odinga's death has upset the status quo. The Daily Nation says that the Linda Mwananchi Brigade, led by Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna, concluded a two-day tour of Western Kenya yesterday. On a day, President William Ruto also visited Busia, underlining the region's importance in the 2027 State House contest. In the 2022 elections, Ruto staged an upset by winning Bungoma, polling 250,000 plus votes that proved decisive to his presidential poll victory, with a razor-thin margin over the close challenger Raila Odinga. Now, with the 5 western counties so far accounting for 2.92 million registered voters, the country's third largest vote bloc after Mount Kenya and Nairobi, the scramble for the region is well underway. That is the case here, according to the Daily Nation. So, Western Kenya counties, with the 5 western counties so far accounting for 2.92 million registered voters. The country's third largest vote bloc after Mount Kenya and Nairobi. The scramble for the region is well underway. That is what is here. So, the Daily Nation has given some figures here. Ambassador, just to give you a quick one, the Daily Nation said that 5 counties of Kakamega, Bungoma, Busia, Trans Nzoia, and Vihiga, in 2022, the voter register had 2.62 million, but current number has shot up to 2.92. IBC 2027 projects that the number is going to go to around 3.36 million. But let me just start by asking you this question. You saw what happened over the weekend?
Yes, I did.
All right. What do you make about that?
Victor, we had really politicians had a lot of activity in Western Kenya.
Yes.
Or for a good reason, and you mentioned it, that we have Western Kenya voting bloc increasing tremendously from the 2.6 to almost by a million.
Yes.
By the poll of 2027. So everyone is rushing for the votes in Western Kenya. I saw the president in church talking very nicely, and president was saying that we should unite, we should let everyone campaign, we should tolerate different opinions. But no sooner had he left the church than he insulted the opposition and called them they don't have brains. And on the other hand, Sifuna was in Bungoma, his homecoming. And definitely when you go home, you're supposed to receive those cheers and the cheering, and also warm welcome. And he really, indeed, he received a warm welcome from his people, from Bungoma, people where he comes from. And not only that he comes from there, he has received really support from other areas when they went to Taita Taveta, wherever they have gone to Kisii and other places. It seems to be Sifuna is gaining traction on the ground.
Yes.
And that's what we can see. And it is jostling for the vote in Western counties.
You can hold on that. We take a quick break. It's already 7. And then when we come back now, we get into it deeply. Is the game on? That's the case. That's the question. Is the game on? Race to 2027. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. All right, welcome back. Now, talk to us. I repeat, is the race to 2027 on? That is on the front page of the local dailies, more or less the same thing. Let me come back and give you the front page of the Standard. The Standard also speaks of the same thing, grand welcome. That is on the front page of the Standard, grand welcome, talking about Sifuna's grand reception back home in Bungoma County. The Standard reports that Western Kenya turned out in an is extraordinary numbers as Edwin Sifuna's Linda Mwananchi Brigade rolled out through the region, capping the tour with triumphant homecoming in Bungoma. Without police cordons, hired crowds or violence, Sifuna commanded rallies with the ease of a seasoned political kingpin, reviving memories of the mass appeal once associated with the late mentor Raila Odinga. Attempts to counter the tour with parallel meetings barely dented the mood. Buoyed by enthusiastic supporters and an endorsement for the presidency, Sifuna has emerged from the weekend looking less like ambitious senator and more like presidential material. That is according to the Standard. So, Doctor, back again. Here we are, based on what you're saying. It's all about Sifuna, it's all about the president was in Western Kenya. It was a busy weekend for the Ingoland.
Yes.
Yes.
Victor, more importantly, I think as we move towards 2027 elections, I think one needs to raise the question, what's really at stake in this country as we move on towards the polls? Because elections are not an event. Elections make a decision, serious decisions about the future of the country.
Yes.
And every citizen should be aware where we're going and what is it that we expect a new leadership in the country or the next leadership in the country to provide to the people. So I see crowds going in the Sifuna way, and not alone. If you check on the opinion polls, there are other opposition leaders also have clout. We see people coming to Sifuna's rallies without any bribery, because we have seen bribery has become a major problem in our country's politics. They come in voluntarily, and people are yearning for change. I believe that Kenyans actually are looking forward for change. Linda Mwananchi is a word that, actually these are two words that make a clear declaration that Kenyans want a leadership that cares about the people. And I would think that is why you could see more, if you combine the opposition,
yes,
you can see opposition having larger numbers, even using the opinion polls, whatever it is reliability, the results is reliability.
Okay.
But you see, you put them together, you see the direction Kenyans want the country to go. Because they want a citizen-oriented, a citizen that a leadership that interested in citizens and the interest of citizens.
Okay. I'll come back to you shortly. Just a quick explanation of what really happened. It's more of a reincarnation, according to the Standard, that Sifuna's Western tour feels Raila's successor debate. The Sifuna Western tour feels Raila successor debate. Thousands turn up for rallies as supporters donate cash to back a people-funded presidential campaign. Something that I think was one of a kind that we've never seen, you know, funding and fundraising actually in broad daylight. It was a funny one though. Nairobi Senator also invokes a new political direction while questioning ODM's future after Raila. Even at that point, he also asked the members of the Mulembe Nation whether they give him the permission to chart a new path altogether, giving some clear signals that he's about to quit ODM once and for all. So the question of how city senators' wave is shaking Mulembe's politics. Sifuna's arrival on the national political arena has unsettled established regional kingpins. Is it? And analysts, including Dr. Bosire and I know Daniel Rogo will also, you know, have a word on this, that say that Senator seeks to have a national appeal but retain a local touch. That's a different way to look at it. And national appeal while also retaining the local touch. as they say that all politics is just too local. But where is Kalonzo? Somebody saying that Kalonzo's absence from spotlight allows Sifuna to build momentum. Dr. Rudi, what would you say of that?
Kalonzo is still there. In fact, even in the news coverage, Kalonzo is still there.
Yes.
He's also doing his campaigns. I've seen him in the course of the week. I don't think a day goes without Kalonzo being out there. However, you see the support for Sifuna. Sifuna is a new player. And when a new player is rising, then you could see support growing. Continuously or gradually continues to grow.
Yes.
And there is this touch that he has for the younger generations. So that is why I would think that Sifuna is moving a little faster. And also the appeal. In fact, as the Standard has put it, it's like he's the only one who has carried the spotlight or the command of the late Raila Amolo Odinga, and actually he rallied support. I mean, he positioned himself as the one who carried on Raila Amolo Odinga's legacy, in the sense that when the rest of the leadership are sticking to the broad-based government, he is stepping out and saying, the broad-based government is supposed to deliver on 1, 2, 3. And characteristics of Raila Amolo Odinga could be in a coalition, it could be supporting, and then he makes a departure, which actually he used to move away with the people, along people supporting him even when he exits. So he's likely to follow the footsteps of Raila Amolo Odinga in that sense, that he's pulling crowds. They can see is interested in supporting, and what he's saying is supporting the people, tackling problems that are eating the people in this country, and that sells very well at the first instance to the people, until they settle down and say who is going then to be the presidential candidate. Okay. Matiang'i enjoyed that from the very beginning, and actually this is kind of complementary also. As the opposition moves towards 2027, that they will finally consolidate.
Okay, let's welcome Daniel Juma Omondi and Daniel Orogo. Daniel Juma Omondi is the Africa Regional Representative, Global Peace Foundation. And Daniel Orogo, political and governance consultant, is also an aspirant in Kibra parliamentary seat in 2027. The two Daniels. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
We've just taken a step. Starting with Daniel Senior, I'll now put it this way, Daniel Senior. What was your weekend highlight? I mean, all the three papers is all about this. Perhaps we can just share the papers. Go ahead, Dr. What's your key highlight of the weekend, Daniel?
Thank you. I think the newspaper and the weekend, I think it's fair to say that Edwin Watenya Sifuna captured the imagination of not just Western Province, but also of the whole country through his homecoming. Like the professor here has said, he's my professor, he taught me. I think Sifuna, being a new kid on the block, is something new, and Kenyans love to go and experience what is new. And the crowds that he pulled in Western Kenya, of course, also demonstrate a new experiment, a new political experiment, that at least someone, there's someone who would bring Western, together. Western Kenya has a big population, but they have not been voting in one basket. And so Edwin Sifuna is trying a very difficult experience of bringing these Western Kenya voters into one block. But that is going to depend on various factors. As we say, this is just an event that is happening. It's happening last weekend. In Kenya, one day in politics is like 1,000 years. And I think that what is going on in the country today, for me, is an eye-opener. And it's an electric shock, especially to the president and his team. You know, it's a wake-up call for them to see that Kenyans have grievances, you know, and that Sifuna is taking advantage of these grievances and, you know, using them to capture the imagination of the nation. So for me, if I were the president today and watching what is going on in Western Province today, it's a wake-up call, and he needs to reorganize his team. Reorganize his team, and I think in the standard the other day, I gave a suggestion that especially after Olkalau, there needs to be a cabinet reshuffle. There needs to be a cabinet reshuffle. The president needs to reorganize his team. And
will it really change the political landscape?
Okay, I mean, especially if you look at what happened in Olkalau, it is very, very clear that the mountain, especially the western part of the mountain, he's gone with Rigiji. He's working with that part of the mountain in his sack. And so the president needs a second term. You know, he may still get a second term, you know, but it's going to be a very tight race. You know, he needs to look at the numbers and try to identify the pathway to the second term. And the pathway is somehow there, but he needs to identify those and work on those pathways. There is no need, in my opinion, trying to woo an area that you can see clearly has moved on. And for me, looking at what happened yesterday and looking at you know, what is happening in the country today, it is clear to me that the president has people working in his administration who are letting him down. They're clearly letting him down. I can tell you for free. You know, if you look at the behavior, for example, I looked at Aden Duale. What Aden Duale did, his outburst the other day was uncalled for. Is uncalled for. You know, when the president is trying to woo votes, this is the session, the time when the president is trying to woo votes. It is unfair for Duale, you know, to basically just come out and recklessly speak the way he did. Number two, looking at the ongoing trial of the OCS, Talam, in the trial of, you know, Albert Ojwang, again, you can see that the police, you know, and I said here last week, that the police are independent. They have a duty. And I must congratulate them. In this time, they have at least let the opposition campaign in peace. When Edwin Sifuna started campaigning, they tried to scatter. But you know, the event in the Western Province went on peacefully. So in that order, and I saw the president say yesterday that he will he wants his opponents to campaign in peace. That is the way to go. But when you see the behavior of the police, especially if you watch at the videos that were being shown on TV, everyone watched them. That is it's a turn-off, complete turn-off. It shows that you know, these people were involved in the murder, in the killing of Albert Ojwang. And this is something that we must say. We must say. So the president, I can say he's doing his best, but he has people working for him that have let him down, and now the opposition are using these grievances to try and take away his two term, which I think he deserves, because this is the president who has tried within 3 years to deliver a lot of development.
Daniel Jr., could it be a disruption of traditional party politics? Because what we saw over the weekend, clearly there is that effect of, you know, there is that hangover from the energy that Baba used to inject on people. And when you're seeing that, whatever was happening in the Western region, all the way from Trans Nzoia crisscrossing to that side of Bungoma, and the president was also the other side of the, you know, the farthest end of Amagoro, the energy was so evident that somebody was missing something, the Western region.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, Victor, for the invitation. First, my apologies for joining a little bit late. It's bad manners to allow Professor to be on the set and the students are joining later. So it is our apology for doing that. It's a practice that he taught us on the lecture rooms on the disciplinary issues. You know, we never came to class late and found Dr. Busire. We always make sure that we're in class before he comes in. So it is our apologies
Doctor, you have a case to answer.
For making that.
You have a case to answer here.
No.
How did one pass exam?
Ungeniambia nitoe tu nyamunyo.
Secondly, Victor, you asked what really makes our week. I see two most defining events, that captured my attention through the week. Number one is on the trial that is ongoing. There are two court cases that were remarkable throughout the week. Number one was the case to seek justice for Albert Ojwang. And Kenyans, for the first time, were seeing how is it that the wheels of justice are rolling so, openly for the whole public to see. In fact, Kenyans will say that instead of appreciating that for the first time, the judicial procedures are expeditious, Kenyans, I think, probably might have wondered, is there something behind that kind of an open and expeditious trial that is ongoing?
Yeah.
But be that as it may be said, I think it's important that we note, and Dan has probably mentioned it, is the realization and how the crude nature, we are yet to see the sentencing, but I think that for it shows what really happens to this gentleman, Albert Ojwang. And in a police cell probably where it's supposed to be a safe place. So I think that is what probably, and secondly, of course, is the Obado's case. And I think that was very remarkable. Now to the questions that you've asked me. Aidan Duale made a very, 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 negative comment that, weep about ethnic emotions. And that was uncalled for. And I think NCAC made their pronouncement about that kind of pronouncement. And I hope that probably we find time to deliberate on this, because such lack of pronouncement incite ethnic animosity in the country. And people begin to make some pronouncement that may lead us into problems. Edwin Sifuna has gone back to redeem himself. The whole weekend was a redemption. Remember, he ran sometimes in Bungoma and lost.
Yes.
And that has been a problem to him, because people keep on mentioning to him that, you tried running in your constituency there and lost. So for him was to go back and affirm that he has to get a blessing from home, so that people no longer ridicule him about that laws as he ascends and begin to have his presidential bid. So for me, I think there are two things. You remember he went back and even showed us his house.
Yes.
And those are things that, remarkably, people begin to question. How do you want to lead a country and we don't know how your home looks like? This becomes always a point of campaigns. So I think for him was telling Kenyans, this is my home, I have a house as a man, I have a home, so I'm leaving to this place and going to seek for an authority to lead the country.
Yeah.
And secondly was just that redemption strategy. That as much as he lost elections sometimes years ago at home, he's still being received and has got a backing from home. So for me, I see him, and I see that statement coming from him. Of course, we'll talk about election campaign financing, because he made a very good pronouncement about who funds his campaign. And he made a very important announcement. So I think that one will also probably find time to say, because people have been alluding that he's being financed by some quarters, but he said he's a man of his own, and he made a statement saying that if these guys give you 10 million, when you get to power, then you'll have to, your hands are actually tied. That is a juxtaposition there that we we probably will need to talk about.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Honorable Davidson, DNG.
Good morning.
MCA, Woodley and Kenyatta Golf Course Ward. Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Is a colleague in the industry. Wewe ulituacha bwana kwa industry ukaenda sasa.
Ni kuelevate mtu wangu, na pia ukiitwa na wananchi uende kuwasaidia kwa ground. Unaitika mwito.
Good to see you.
Same here. Thank you so much for
Karibu
inviting
sana.
me.
How is Woodley?
Woodley is fantastic.
Great.
And as I begin, allow me to start by also registering my apologies for coming in a bit late.
Karibu sana.
I will not make an excuse, just to apologize.
This is Nairobi. You saw what happened over the weekend also as your opening remarks.
Yes.
A youthful, Edwin Sifuna making that triumphant, entrance back home. That was electric.
Correct.
All right, go ahead.
Firstly, he's my senator in this county.
Yes.
He's a strong politician. He's a very good leader. I've worked with him severally in terms of oversighting the county government of Nairobi, especially the county executive run by the governor. So I do know his capabilities. I know that he's capable and he's able. It's, whenever I see a young person going for a bigger seat, that is something that is remarkable because he's opening doors for others. It's something we need to celebrate rather than pour water on, regardless of the political affiliations that we have. I think the insurgence of young leaders in various capacities is something positive. A lot of times it had been said that the future is going to be ours, but that our time is now. So I celebrate Edwin Sifuna for that. I do know now that he's aiming for a bigger seat. There's a gap in terms of oversight in Nairobi, because he unfortunately has, as he focuses on the big seat, he's not focusing on Nairobi. And Nairobi has serious challenges. You'll find that as much as MCAs do oversight, Senate is also supposed to do oversight. And that is why each county has a senator to represent the interests of Nairobians and to also oversight the county executive. So there's a gap there. I feel like as MCAs, we're now on our own, especially in this city. We're now on our own, and we have we're in a very tight spot, especially.
Why do you say you're on your own?
We're on our own because our senator is looking for bigger things. Our responsibilities are similar. So MCAs have the oversight, legislative and representative responsibilities. So does Senate. So as Edwin Sifuna looks for greener pastures or for a bigger position or for career progression and elevation, there's a gap there. I was in an interview last week and I was being asked, why doesn't our senator in Nairobi County put as much pressure as he puts on the other governors? For example, there was a time I saw on television the governor of Samburu almost being frog-marched into a police station within the premises of Senate.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see our governor of Nairobi doing the same, being taken to the same, because the issues are even more grave and more serious in the capital city. Yes.
Okay. I want to take a quick break, but the question is the game on? Is the game on?
Yes, it is.
All of it. Is the game on?
Showtime.
It's turbo activated, so we are likely to see more and more of it. Yeah. But the transfer window is almost here. We are likely to see more. If you're a fan of football, the transfer window, we are almost starting the EPL soon. So, Daktari, transfer windows, who is going to cross where?
Kangada has already crossed. And many are going to cross.
And many?
Yeah, they're going to cross.
Daniel Orogo, are you going to have coffee with the friends during the evening, then cross over to somewhere? You?
To where?
Okay, fine.
I am in opposition.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us. All right, okay. All right, so this is why you say, itakuwa teke mpaka saa 2 kamili. So, Ambassador Dr. Richard Bosire, who is a lecturer of political science, University of Nairobi, here with us. Daniel Orogo, Jr., all right, 2 Daniels, political and governance consultant, is also eyeing Kibra parliamentary seat. Honorable Davidson DNG Ngibwini, MCA Woodley, Kenyatta Golf Course Ward, and Daniel Jumomondi, who is Africa Regional Representative, Global Peace Foundation. Gentlemen, let's do this now. Is the game on, Daniel Orogo? Is the game on?
Very. I mean, how many days? About 370.
Yes.
Days to election. Prof had mentioned that there is a lot of crossing over and back and forth. That is probably going to be accelerated as we move by. You remember the IBC had already given their campaign election calendar.
Yes.
And I think they already noticed that, mentioned that by this January or February, if you are a public servant, you should have been out by that time. So, so within these months that are remaining to December, you're probably going to see wonders. Guys are going to resign from their elective positions, from their nominative position. I expect there's going to be a lot of cabinet resignation. That is going to happen. A lot of also reorganizing, both in the national and the county assemblies. You've seen matters of conversations around coalitions. Guys are actually meeting for tea. And political tea is not just a political tea.
Yes.
Yeah, there is some storm on that tea. So you are definitely going to see a lot that is happening. People meetings and declaring, and meetings without, making statements and making statements. So yeah, I mean, the market water of politics is already here with us, and the game has been on. It's not that it's just beginning. Our election period is that one election after one election is the beginning of another election.
Yeah.
So there is no waiting until the officially gazettement of an electoral period. People have been in election mood after each and every election. So the game has been ongoing, not that the game is on.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Doctor.
Yes,
okay, Daniel said that the game is already on. But when we're looking at the three counties, let's start with Western Kenya, with a little bit of some focus on it. Why sudden interest in Western side of Kenya? The president, was it to try to neutralize what was going to happen over the weekend, with the game being on already?
Victor, I think it's Daniel Juma who mentioned that some of the cabinet political leaders that links the president of the western counties should resign or should be sacked or should do something. I think for me that is what is bringing about some, I think has sent some shockwaves, especially to the president, about controlling Western. Because Musali has been talking, Wetangula has been jumping all over the place. Sorry for using jumping, but not in a negative way. But have they brought Western support to the president? I would say they have not succeeded. And therefore the president is actually, I have seen now the president going there personally. He was there yesterday, and he made quite a few addresses as he was in Busia. And for me, that is the really main reason why there is a battle. And the number of votes, we have already said, actually it's 2.92. It's likely to go to 3.4 by the time we go to the polls. And this is a huge voting block, if you may call it a block.
Yeah.
Although voting in Western is, I could say, so democratic. People say, oh, they don't vote together. What's wrong with that? People can vote the way they want. But on what basis? For me, that is the most important thing. We are going to this election, but what is at stake? Because I would not wish to discuss on people using all means to capture the votes in Western or in the whole around the country, but the grossing over issues that will make our people, Kenyan people, make the right decision in 2027. My good student Juma said that the president has done a lot. Sometimes I like evidence, and Daniel, this one. Yes. I like evidence, and I taught him that we speak on the point of evidence. I was wondering, what are we really talking about? Kenya, even personally, as a person I'm speaking here, I have issues that I could air and say, Kenya is not doing well. I can't borrow from the banks to do my development. I've suspended my development agenda as a person for the last four years. Reason, my payslip was raided. The banks cannot give me a loan. I'm not alone in this. People cannot pay school fees. We have issues to do with the heavy taxation, less service from the public, or less efficient services from the public, from the public officers and all that. Insecurities, political lies, and all these things. Education has been on its deathbed. The president just recently realized that we should have a universal education like the one we did when I went to university. A poor person, a poor child from youth from Kisii. I came to the university. The university gave me a place to sleep, gave me stipend, and I went to class for 3 years, and I finished university, and I paid my loan after the 3 years, after I got a job. He has realized now that that model that he came up with, which he has been promoting, that is a supermodel to help Kenya to grow, to people to go to university through colleges and all that, that was not working. He has wasted Kenya's youth for 4 years. In other words, what am I saying? Let us use the evidence and say, what kind of leadership do we need in this country? And who is likely to provide this leadership? We have spoken also about NCIC. Duale yesterday tells the NCIC, shows them a red card. Kwenda huko. You can only summon me if I'm coming there with the Gachagua. Otherwise, I'm not. But what is NCIC? Why did we create it?
Yeah.
It's a national institution. They're supposed to bring cohesion, to bring us together. And then when we treat it like that, toothless dog, it's a litmus test for the NCIC.
Yeah.
If it doesn't do anything to Duale and others, then why do we pay tax to pay them? We have a problem with unconstitutional conduct of politicians. And we are not calling Duale a politician and others. And yesterday he was saying, oh, they are focusing on those who are serving. No, you uttered words that will cause problems in this country.
You have to take responsibility.
Take responsibility.
Yeah.
And we have not had anybody else, even his appointing authority, making a comment.
That's an individual responsibility. Okay. Daniel, okay. How is the environment going to change moving forward? Because now what we are trying to see, Daniel says that the gain has been on all through. So moving forward, is it going to be different? Because what we're trying to see that the status quo is going to be shaken a little bit.
I mean, something has to change. If the president is serious about winning a second term, you know, he has to make amends. He has to make amends. We must strive in constitutionalism. I agree with some of the things that Professor is saying, that the president has made some political mistakes. And those political mistakes
Actually,
yes, and those mistakes have really caused him, you know, in terms of, for example, if you look at what happened when we had the finance bill, you know, when we have the Gen Z uprising, I've just mentioned the misbehavior by the police, you know, the murder of Albert Ojwang, you know, so there have been a lot of mistakes. And also, I'm one person who believed that actually Deputy President former President Gachagua did not have to be impeached. Impeachment was not something you did not have. I mean, we didn't have to go that way. But I think at that time, Raila Odinga and his team, you know, were pushing, you know, for Gachagua to come out because of the nemesis at that moment. But if you asked me, the president would have, you know, allowed Gachagua to be the way he was allowed to be when he was opposing Uhuru Kenyatta during his time. So for me, this was our own goal. These are things we didn't have to do. But moving forward, I think it's a learning moment. And for us, where I come from, you know, Raila Odinga, you know, left us in broad-based. And so for me, I have to speak, you know, I'm like an orphan. An orphan when your father has left you in some place. So that is how, so in where we come from.
Your stepfather is still there.
Yeah, so where we come from, so that's where we were left. And so for me, I'm looking at politics. I'm looking at politics as a matter of interest.
Yeah.
You get my point? Right now, the Luo nation, the Luo nation as we speak, they have to make a decision. Where is their interest most, you know, addressed? You get my point?
Yeah.
Now, this other side, you know, where the Sifuna and Orengo is trying to pull the Luo nation to go, they are afraid because they have seen before how Gachagua has mistreated them, has said, you don't have shares in this government. You don't have what? So, it's going to take really a lot of effort to sway the Luo nation to support the opposition, especially where Gachagua is. That is the reality.
Yes.
So as it is today, the Luo nation is still under President Ruto. And that's one of the reasons why I am saying that the president needs to put his money where his mouth is. We only have 2 cabinet positions. Central Kenya has 8. You understand?
Yes.
And Central Kenya has shown that they are not going to vote for him. You understand? So why do we need to continue following a woman who is not interested in you? Get another woman. So for me, my advice is, my political advice going forward, is that the president has these cabinet positions, all these goodies. He can utilize them, especially in this last year of the campaign, to his advantage. Use those, reorganize the administration, start your campaign. Don't wait for
But
next
that
year.
change the mood of the voter?
Don't wait for, what I'm saying, don't wait for.
Okay, cabinet reshuffles.
Yes.
How will it change the mood of the
What
voter?
I'm saying, what I'm
right
trying
now?
to say.
Because Wanjiku is hell-bent on what is, or where he's going to vote.
Just to expand the side, the ODM side of broad-based. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is that put your money where your mouth is, because right now what Sifuna is doing, Sifuna is also using Orengo to try and divide the Luo votes, to give some to Sifuna. You know our point. So the president needs to defend what he has as he goes out, reaches out to the others. Another thing is also the Gen Z. The Gen Z votes is not entirely for Sifuna. You understand? I mean, we must keep working hard, and that's why for me, the economic, question comes in. The youths need jobs. The president needs to ensure he has the money, he has the whatever. Get the young people, jobs. Let's have, the issue of goons addressed. You know our point. If he is able to do this successfully, then he has a fighting chance, especially within the Gen Z
Talk of
votes.
ODM, DNG, you heard yesterday, ODM also saying that they have a presidential running mate, that UDA should bring President William Ruto, and yesterday also said that Oparanya, from the other side of ODM, broad-based, should be the running mate. Now, these are 2 big boys from western side of Kenya. Are you seeing how this thing is going to play out?
Well, firstly, politics is, as my brother says, a game of interest.
Right.
And everybody right now is, pulling the string and trying to pull that rope towards their corner. So there's still time to play. The game is on, for sure, but we're not yet 100% there. Like a soccer game, it's 90 minutes. Then there's extra time. And if it's still a draw, then we go into a penalty shootout.
Yes.
So there's so much time in this 1 year. And 1 year in politics is a long time, meaning that there's so much time for the president to navigate that terrain. There's no perfect regime. In elective leadership or politics or governance, you're damned if you do and damned if you don't. They'll always criticize you. Even if today a leader would resurrect a dead person, they would say he's a witch, or he or she's a witch. Isn't it? Right? You would deny that it's a miracle. Even Christ, when he was doing miracles, they were saying, "Ini mazinga ombwe." Katika at the temple, isn't it? So leadership is a very challenging terrain where you cannot please everybody all the time. So you have to just do your best, stay focused, and carry out your vision as you had sold it. So I want to agree with my brother in broad-based, because I'm also in broad-based, that the president has time to address the issues. I believe that this 1 year you can address what wananchi are complaining about. And sometimes when you have a program, like a prof was talking about, like education, if a model is not working, you just need to come out straight and say it's not working, and let's revise this or amend this. And there's nothing wrong with that, because there's no know-it-all. I think all of us are all in a learning curve. Even if you are 80 years old or 100 years old, you're always learning one thing, and you can always pivot from one side to the other. I like what is happening in our country with all these new formations coming up. Why? Because it expands our democratic space. That is the Kenya we want. We don't want to be multi-party. I mean single party, I beg your pardon. We want to have various options. And I would like to see our democracy grow to a level where when we come to vote, we're not voting because my tribe is Kikuyu or Luya or Luo or Kamba or Kisi. rather, or this is the movement, or this is the slogan, or this is the party. I would like to see an agenda-based campaign, like what we see in the West. We need to grow our democracy to that level. And it's by all these divergent ideas. And it also gives an opportunity for coalition building, as has been said on this show. That this time, as my brother from Kibra has mentioned, you will see people coming together. We don't know who our current president, William Samoei Ruto, will choose. You may find that the least predictable is the one he will go for. You never know. You might even find Sifuna part of broad-based. You might. Who says you can't? Who had foreseen that Raila Amolo Odinga would join William Samoei Ruto? Nobody. Nobody had foreseen it.
Good question. Good question. And Dan, Junior, I still ask this question of Oparanya. You know what happens? Around 2 or so months ago, the CS said that his office was underfunded. And when I asked the SG of ODM here, and she said no, she didn't. Yesterday, she's the one who said, I wish she was here, that in every situation there must be a leader. And now they are also fronting Oparanya. These are two big boys from Western region. Sifuna, that one was happening. At the same time, Oparanya was also being fronted as the flag running mate to President William Ruto. We all could hear what Kindiki said, Professor Kindiki. You know? What do you make of all this?
That is welcoming. He's welcoming. He knows that Oparanya would come. Something that was unforeseeable months ago, because there are the issues of opinion polling in this country. The opinion polls had actually polled Professor Kindiki as still the most preferable deputy running mate for the president.
Yes.
We had not seen these other figures now. It seems.
Not even Oparanya of all the people.
It seems.
Yeah.
That was before Al-Kala.
Yeah, that was before Al-Kala. It seems now there are other faces that are coming in to claim their piece of cake in the running mate. And remember, the cost people actually also called for Joho to be on the equation. Yeah, and everyone is now going to call for regional.
It's deputy.
Yeah. So one of the things that, and you ask us whether the game is on. I tell you, it has been on. All these, unfortunately, regions in the search for kingpins, to go and negotiate and be part of the conversation within, in the sharing of the national cake, is going to be probably to pile pressure also for the president to actually finally confirm that Professor Kithure Kindiki is his de facto running mate in the upcoming elections. So I think this is one thing that you're going to see, whether the broad-based government that my two colleagues are here are also going to put people again into the interviews. Kalonzo was placed on an interview, remember the Azimio in the choice of the running mate. I hear also the opposition are actually looking for a working formula, whether it's going to be in a boardroom or whether it's going to be, in a press conference or in an election. The search for a candidate and the search for, a running mate of that candidate is equally going to be a headache for all these, political functions as we move by. But Victor, I wanted to mention one thing, that the battle for the soul of this country, unfortunately, my MC has mentioned that we wish, as the Vision 2030 states, that the political bit of our Kenyan pillar on the Vision 2030 would be issue-based politics. Unfortunately not. I don't know when that is going to end, Professor. I don't know when that is going to end.
They don't want
but
to.
It seems that even as we move by, the hope that we had in Gen Z, that Gen Z would actually be the generation that would discuss issues, is not really feasible as we speak. It seems that everyone is talking about the political interest, where their mouth lies, and where their region is befitting to benefit in the election and post-election. The reality, the ideal is that we wish that we have a democratic space, like in Western and US, where we have only two parties, Democrats and Republicans debating issues, and probably Tea Party. And like we have it in the UK, where the, you know, the Labour and the Conservatives and all these people have, but in Kenya, it seems that the bedrock of our campaigns begins at, we have 8 million people in basket.
Yeah.
Ethnic.
And that is where we begin that conversation, that with my 7 million, with my 8 million, what are we going to have?
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So the soul and the battle of winning elections is in who is winning the narrative, unfortunately. And the narrative that we have as we speak, I was reading Muga's comments on the Star, and where he talks about our psychology outweighs our economic incentives in the elections, giving a case study of Olkalau. That however much the government issues gas cylinders and, you know, and boats, and what else was given in Olkalau, and new shoes for our grandparents,
Electricity.
they were only able to get 5,000 votes. So what happens? It seems that the opposition coined a narrative of winning. It seems that the opposition exploited a narrative of victimhood. You understand? And this is what goes when my colleague Dan, my namesake, mentioned the narrative in Nyanza. The people of Nyanza are actually now looking at development from a historical injustice and marginalization issue. They are not looking at it from a development. They are saying, for the first time in history, and in successive governments, we are having roads.
Okay.
You understand? So all these things, and the battle now is going to be shifted on the political narrative with addressing historical injustices that are in different regions in this country. And that is where it will be won. That is where it will be won.
Okay, your Molimo is about to speak.
Yes.
Keep quiet.
Yeah, Victor, why are we going to vote on the basis of our history? Why not vote on the basis of now? For me, I see the decision in elections, this election, is about now. Who do we blame for the roads? Who do we reward for the roads done in Nyanza? I don't think that this government, the current government, the last 4 years, we have done all those big roads. The roads were done between Kibaki and Uhuru, most of those roads. I know, I'm from Nyanza myself. I've not seen a new road, totally new road. We recarpeted the Kisii-Kisumu road during Kibaki a bit, and Uhuru finished the work. And many other big projects have been done in the region. But is this what is going to determine the vote? Then who gets the credit? Then it becomes really the conundrum of the voter to make a decision. But the voter is going to make a decision on the basis of now. The fuel prices, for example. You cannot tell me that people are happy in this country, whatever region you come from, when you are buying fuel like twice as much as it was 5 years or 6 years ago. And there's no good explanation. But because the political elite, who are also the business elite, are exploiting the public to amass wealth and also to put together the kitty for the next election. Sifuna, if you look at the opinion polls, I thought Sifuna is the most popular in Nyanza among the Luo ODM, actually, within ODM, 74%. If my point is 74%. Now, my son in the academy here said that Sifuna is bringing Orengo so that it divides the Luo vote. In fact, I think that ODM has decided that the incarnation of Raila is in Sifuna and not in any other of these people that actually have not come out strongly. And Linda Ground has 20% support of ODM. So I see that this thing has been stolen. Sifuna has been blessed by whoever and is moving forward to take the popularity vote in the region. And Nyanza is not Luo alone. There is also Kisii, there is, if you go by communities, there is Kuria, and there are other Suba also, are another lot. There are many players in there if you go ethnic. But generally, our problems are similar as a country, and we should focus on ideals and on those issues, issue-based politics. But unfortunately, even our president, when he goes there, yesterday he was at church, and he spoke very well about ending Gunism. But it's always talk. In this country, we have talk, no action. Because we wait for action, decisive action. It never takes place.
Yeah.
Then he moves to the rally and he insults. The clips are there, you could play for us on TV.
So
he insults and says, I wanna kill you. You know, you are insulting your co-leaders. These are leaders in the country. They're not foreigners. Even if they were foreigners, we must have some diplomatic etiquette, a little bit of it, not to insult.
Okay.
Because this is also destroying the fabric of our society.
Your son in the academy has the right of reply.
yeah, so let me just, of course, interject. When you look at the reason why we from that region and is from the same region are looking at these historical injustices is because previously, and because of Raila's foray in opposition politics, you know, the previous administration have starved our region of these projects. Right now, as I'm talking to you, the road from Kisumu to Busia is full of potholes. Last week, I was in Central Province. I was going to Nyeri. The roads there, you know, are well done. But
Ruto should have done it. 4 years.
That's what I'm saying. No, but just 3 years right now. Ruto has
4 years.
Ruto has done
tomorrow. I mean,
the Maori-Roni Road, which again has faced opposition from some people in Central Province, as saying that is a road to nowhere. This road is going to be a game changer.
It's a story. It's a story.
It's a game changer.
The road was there for many years.
Yeah. So anyway, so let me just say. So for us, we see Ruto. He's not a perfect president. He has his challenges, and I've said he has made several mistakes. But in terms of what he is trying to do, and even in terms of how he has been able to accommodate Raila Odinga in his last days, I think is someone who people are looking at favorably.
All right.
But let me just say, looking at Kalonzo, we
take a quick break before you jump.
No,
before you do a transition.
Dan has actually need to define we. Because when he says we is referring to who?
Victor, there is a problem here. Let me mention something before I forget.
It's set on the dot. It's set on the dot. Just a 1 minute break.
Okay.
Just 1 minute break. We'll be back. Stay with us. There's a problem. We'll solve it after this. All right, welcome back. And Doctor, you said there's a problem. Solve it.
The problems we have in this country, I would summarize, is that our leaders actually lie to the public. They don't tell the truth. They don't tell the public the truth. And it's important that we build a country on the foundation of truth and fact, not political expedience.
Yes.
People stand and say, oh, we have done this, we have done this, we have done this. And it's a lie. So to the extent that now, even our children are lying to us. The whole country seems not to be working on the basis of values, or acting on the basis of values. Our constitution is no longer respected. Let me mention this in relation to what we were saying about Duale and other CSS. What does the constitution provide in terms of the conduct of CSS as public officers? They're not supposed to be in the campaign trail. They're supposed to be neutral and manage public affairs in their dockets, whether it's education, health, or what. But what they are now doing is that they have shelved the constitution. The rule of law has been shelved. What we are seeing is just bare knuckles fight out there using illegal means. It is unfortunate. We must educate the public and tell them what is important in an election. And I would tell our people in this Republic of Kenya, it's not a question of being given a bribe. It's not a question of being lied to. Just assess and see the truth. For instance, when we are talking about Mau Summit Rironi Road, or Rironi Mau Summit Road, this road has been in the books for so long. During Ouru's time, President Ouru's time, they negotiated with the French to do it, and the French government was supposed to provide resources. They could not agree. Then the current President Ruto picks it up, and they negotiate and agree with the French to do the
work is ongoing right now.
whatever is going on, let me tell you,
The work is ongoing right
let me say this, Victor. Work could be going on, but what I've seen personally, because I passed through that place, people are doing things to demonstrate to the public or to, again, hoodwink the public that the road is being constructed.
No, the road is constructed.
Shirasing for how many months? How many? 6 months. They are just wanatoa mchanga this side of the road, wanapeleka the other side of the
construction
road.
is ongoing.
There is nothing substantive that has been done. If you, let me tell you, this is the truth. If you want to go with the cameras, go to where we call Kikope, where I would think the president might stop if he will be on that road. Hold on a second. That is where they have done it. That's where they have done it. And compacted, nothing, no tarmac has been.
The work is ongoing.
But then,
the work is ongoing.
atasimama hapa aseme munaona barabara. And the cameras will show. Let me tell you
Remember,
this.
you have 2 of your students here. You have 2 of your students here.
Kenya must graduate
Okay.
from
Okay.
these half-truths.
Thank you.
Let us vote on the
All
basis of
right.
facts.
Let me come back to you. I'll come back to Daniel shortly. What are you trying to see? The younger generation coming to put their foot forward, because there has to be, a move from. There has to be a transition, and what you're trying to see towards 2027. What are you trying to see?
Firstly, allow me to respond to Prof. That road construction starts with excavation.
There's no excavation going on.
What he's seeing is excavation.
No.
You see, you cannot just start tarmacking a road, boss. No. You have to excavate, you have to create
clever
channels,
enough.
you have to create...
I am old enough to
drainage.
see serious construction and to see signs
Victor,
of construction.
protect me from our learned friend. You have to do some hand packing. You compact the road.
For how long?
Until it is ready. And then
Until
you
after
cannot
elections or
rush
close the elections.
road construction, because if you do, you have poor quality roads. So, Prof, please be patient. Barabara by election. Apart from that, this issue of Duale has not been properly prosecuted. I know he's under siege and under fire because of his statement, but are we saying that now we are afraid to address historical injustices? We've just been addressing historical injustices in Nyanza. Why can't we address historical injustices in northeastern Kenya? And the truth of the matter is that, as he has rightfully said, for very many regimes, that region has been forgotten. In fact, some of us forgot that we have that as part of Kenya.
And it's
but
not true.
For now, what is happening is that William Samoei Ruto is giving prominence to that region. That he's unlocking through roads, through the stadium. You saw what we saw in our last...
devolution. We have had devolution
you,
since 2010.
In our last,
it is the one that has brought all these things.
In our last national day, we saw an amazing stadium built by the KDF. And there's been the injection of a lot of resources to that region, which we need to celebrate rather than make noise upon. Back to your question as we conclude, in terms of 2027, I want to see a campaign that is issues-based. What I project is that the 2027 election will be about people. And Wananchi will be selecting people, or electing people for that matter, rather than the party, rather than the movement, rather than the slogan. I find, or I project that that election will have a lot of diversity in the ballot papers. For example, you'll find a president from this community, a governor from that community, a senator from a different party, like that. Because, and this is what I would encourage Wananchi to do, because we need to choose leaders, rather than who is the most popular, who has the best insults, who has the most money to mobilize. We need to elect leaders who actually mean well for Kenya, who have a good head on their shoulders, who are development-oriented, and who are going to bring about change and progress in this country.
Yeah.
So our democracy and elective politics must mature. And it will not just mature in faith. We must do the work. I must go on ground and convince my people to choose based on performance and based on the development track record. He must do the same. You must do the same. Prof, you must do the same. Even in class, you must teach the students to look at elective politics differently. This thing is not personal, and it should not be personalized around tribe, around hate. It should be fair, it should be democratic, and at the end of the day, we are one people and one country. I come from a society in Kibra where they are all tribes.
Yeah.
Me, I can't do tribal-based politics in Woodley. It will not fly. This is Nairobi. Tunaita Kanairo needs diaspora.
All right.
Yes.
You wanted to say something before?
Yeah, I just wanted
When
to
it's still
say,
hot.
I wanted to say that at the end of the day, and Prof, I learned this from your, I think your class, and also Professor Nyunguru. You can't trust any politician. All politicians are liars. So in 2027, we are looking for a lesser liar. A lesser liar. And in this case, right now, if you look at...
how do you say that in the national television?
If you look
No,
at...
he must withdraw.
How do you say that?
Are you alive?
No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not.
He must withdraw.
Victor,
all of us.
okay, let me withdraw
Say,
that.
I am alive.
Let me withdraw that. Let me withdraw that. In terms of campaign promises, politicians promise a lot, but they deliver.
many people here.
They deliver less. Huh? And so, if you look at, I want you to go to Miguna Miguna's Twitter handle of the last few days. Where he has been even dissecting even the Sifunas and all this. So, Miguna is saying that right now, even the people that Sifuna is hanging around, the people supporting Sifuna's campaign, for example, President Uhuru Kenyatta and, Matiang'i and all, these people, their regime was brutal. Look at River Ayala. It is crazy. And so right now, we are here blaming President Ruto, but I can say that he has tried. He has tried to do his best in terms of bringing the nation together, in terms of, trying to distribute development, even in terms of Northeastern. And honestly, for someone to get an ID, this turn, it's so treated like you are a foreigner. And so for me, right now, just to comment about Kalonzo, you look at this nation of saying Kalonzo's absence from the spotlight allows Sifuna to build momentum. For me, looking at the political stage right now, I think Kalonzo has really, been quiet. What Sifuna and the team are doing is what I expect Kalonzo to be doing. So as it is today, I think Kalonzo, if I were him, and I would really encourage President Ruto, look for Kalonzo. Kalonzo has 3 million votes, and these are Kambas are loyal voters. Look for him. Give him the running mate if possible.
Victor, again, we are here on national television.
Kalonzo has said time in number that he is not willing. That he is in united opposition.
And why do we look at leaders as ethnic leaders?
And that's what I say.
That's the reality. That's the reality of our politics.
That's not the reality.
Look at Gachagua.
It is the
Gachagua has made it very, very clear.
It's the wrong thing.
But Gachagua has made it very, very clear.
But we don't like
Kenya is his.
And that is not making him.
That doesn't make it right.
But that is the reality of our politics. And that's one of the reasons why Sifuna is in Western. Trying to lock.
Sifuna has been in cause,
trying to lock
everywhere. You have
that area of the nation.
Victor, may I make a comment?
This
Actually, it was almost done.
Yes.
We are out of time.
So I can see the
my closing comment, and we are torn in between. Where we have been as a country, and as a young person, I think my aspiration is to get into a political scene that at least resemble the aspirations of our political angle of the Vision 2030. Victor, we are not going to survive with an ethnic politics in this country. It's not going to take us for a long time. In fact, evidence are there to prove that it has led us into problems since independence. And the more we talk about it, the more retrogressive it is. It's not going to help us.
It has to be.
It has, whether we like it or not, it has to be. It has to be transformed to be an issue-based politics. And I am looking forward to being an objective, pundits looking towards measuring the reality of how things are. You understand? So for me, and lastly, I had an opportunity probably to sit with the IBC commissioner and the former CJ. And the chair of the IBC, Honorable Ekethon, mentioned something that transpired and might equally be what we are going to see. He mentioned two things, that the rise of Gunism in political elections and in electoral, polling stations is something that probably is interesting. He mentioned that, I think, when we were there probably in March. Look at what happened in Onokalau.
Okay.
He mentioned again something about super agents. And these super agents, he's saying, for example, a governor would match his candidate to a polling station and get access to polling station. And then the others would be denied. It's a recipe to chaos. And when we have goons and counter goons, others are accessing polling station, others are denied. This is one thing that we have to call all the electoral agencies, not only IEBC, NCIC, the Kenyan police.
Okay.
You know, all these electoral stakeholders to look at what is going to happen in 2027.
And you know what happens now?
You know,
because all of you are in political or leadership roles, in on your capacity. You have a role to play. Personally, as Victor, I'll just give you a platform. But if you don't preach it out there, DNG, if you don't preach it in Udli, in you know Kibra, for example, which is a cosmopolitan region.
Yes, it is.
Which is seriously cosmopolitan, then you'll be doing a zero work. Gentlemen, allow me to say we are done.